Hi everyone, my name's Laura and this is my channel So Very Laura. So welcome if this is your first visit to my channel, and welcome back if you're an existing subscriber. And today I'm back with a really special vlog because today is my reveal video for the collaboration on the Sorrento jacket that I've done with the fabulous Mandy from Make It Sew. So I'll link Mandy's channel in the notes down below so you can go over and watch her vlog as well. The plan is that we're going to release tomorrow, which will be Monday the 16th of September. Apologies if I look a little bit paler than I sometimes do. I'm going out tonight to see Ed Byrne in Weston-super-Mare, which is about an hour or so away from us. And I don't really want to stick loads of makeup on, because if I do and then I want to put some makeup on to go out, it will inevitably have fallen off and look awful, and then I'll be doing a repair job. So I hope you'll excuse my slightly natural look. So I'm wearing the jacket, which, as I say, is the Sorrento jacket, and it comes from the Sew Over It third ebook, which is Summer Dreaming. And Mandy and I got together to do the collab because she had this on her Make 9 and reached out and asked if anybody was interested in doing a collaboration. So I said, yes, I would love to. And so that's how it all started. So we've been working on these for a while, had hoped to release our makes a little bit earlier, but with life and holidays and changes of job and everything, it's taken a bit more time. But we met up at a social a week ago today, so this is Sunday the 15th, and we met up at a sewing social in a little village called Scothern, which is just outside Lincoln. And so Mandy and I went along to that, along with the lovely Michelle, who is Michelle the Menopausal Sewer here on YouTube, so I'll link her channel down below as well. And Mandy and I filmed a little bit about our makes and what we thought of them. So I'll pop that clip in here now, and then I'll come back to you and talk to you a little bit more about what I thought of the jacket. So I'll see you in a second.
But yeah, I mean, I think I'd like to do another denim jacket, but I'd like to do a longer one.
Yeah, I've seen a couple that are longer. I'm not sure about how much top stitching is involved, but I don't know if it's a double row, because that's the other thing. A lot of it you done double, and then suddenly you were doing single, weren't you?
Yeah.
Certain bits, but I don't think my cuff would have survived if I'd done another row.
No, and when I did my top stitching around the pocket, there was something where it said do it on the inside, do it inside the previous one, and I couldn't, so I just did it on the outside. You obviously did as well.
Yeah, some of the bits, I think, being denim, it wasn't quite as easy to, like my waistband. You know, try and tuck it in and top stitch it. It wasn't easy.
Yeah. But when Mandy was messaging me going, did you want to throw it out the window when you got to the waistband? Because at this point it was really funny, because we were like this, weren't we? We were like going along, and then you overtook me, and then I overtook you because you went on holiday.
Yes.
And then,
oh gosh, yeah, and I was like, oh, I've got to get that done.
So you're messaging me going, did you want to throw it out the window when you got to the waistband? I went, no, only when I got to the cuffs. And then you finished on Friday night, and I finished this morning.
Yeah, but I did have that other thing to do my buttons as well, which was handy, wasn't it? Made life a lot easier.
Yeah, although actually putting the buttons were quick. It was the buttonholes that were a flipping nightmare.
Yes, there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. And there should be more, only I didn't bother there.
Yeah, see, I did, but I'll talk about that bit in my video.
Well, I'll talk about the buttonholes thing, but yeah, interesting. Learned quite a bit about buttonholing in general. Yes. And at one point, very early this morning, I was watching a video entitled "How to Hand Sew a Keyhole Buttonhole," but fortunately, I didn't need it.
No, that would have taken you forever. You would have been like, Mandy, do this today.
No, I wouldn't. I'd have done it.
I know, that's how I was though. You sort of get to the point where you're like, right, I'm near the finish line, I've just got to do it now.
Yeah. Talking of which, just got to do it now. I think they're packing up.
Yeah, we better go.
So we better scoot. But we'll see you with our individual bits.
Yes, definitely. And until the next time.
Until the next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Okay, so I'm back and I've taken my jacket off and I've popped it onto Olivia, my mannequin. So I'm going to readjust the angle so that you can see the jacket properly on Olivia, and then I'll talk you through it. Okay, so here we go. Apologies for the temporary loss of my head, but at least this way you can see the jacket properly on Olivia. So as you can see, the Sorrento jacket is cropped, so it comes in at about the waist, and I made a straight size 14, and I was a bit nervous about it size wise because this is also a top from Sew Over It. This is the Molly top, and I made this in a size 14, which was actually the biggest I could fit on the fabric. And when I first made it, it was really quite snug on me, and actually now it's not, because I think I've lost a little bit of weight. So it's pretty much back to what I would expect, which is a bit loose on the top and then fits okay over the hips. But yes, I was a bit worried it would be a bit tight, but the way I actually chose my size was to match the size around the chest and the shoulders with a ready-to-wear denim jacket that I've got. So I thought it would probably be all right here, and I was just getting a bit worried about the waist area. Although actually I can get the jacket done up, and you will have seen that from the video clip that I did with Mandy, but I don't really think I would wear it like that. So I got my denim from Higgs and Higgs, and I bought it at the Sewing for Pleasure show in the NEC in March, and it's very slightly stretchy. I think it's something like an 8-ounce denim. I'll link it below, and it is very slightly stretchy. And I do think that on the whole it was fine. It didn't stretch out too much, but it did get me into trouble on one of the cuffs. Can't remember which one, but when I was trying to attach the cuff to the sleeve, I think I'd managed to stretch the cuff, the sleeve out just a little tiny bit, and I was getting lots of tucks in it. So I managed to sort it out by clipping into the cuff a little bit, and then it sat together much more straight and better. But I mean, it's meant to have a pleat there, but I was getting lots and lots of little tucks. But other than that, it behaved quite nicely. The pattern instructions do say don't have too much stretch, and I don't think I did. I think on the whole it was fine. So what do I like about the pattern? I like the kind of all the panels and the top stitching, but believe you me, I didn't always enjoy the top stitching because my machine didn't like it, and I did use my humper jumper, which I mentioned in my last vlog about the bag, but even then on some of the thicker parts of the seams, particularly on the cuffs, which is one of the last things you do, you top stitch the cuffs. Don't know how well you can see that, but I had real trouble. It was skipping stitches and doing all sorts of things, and I changed my needle and it still didn't help. So essentially on one of the cuffs, down one of the edges, I unpicked my attempt at machine stitching, and I actually backstitched to fake the top stitching because I thought it was the only way that I was going to get it done in the end. So yeah, that was a bit of a struggle, and it would be interesting to make a garment where I do try and do the top stitching on my mum's sewing machine, which I'll pop a picture in of, which is an old Jones, which is the precursor to Brother, because I think that will be a bit of a workhorse. And I had intended to do it on this, but in the end I just didn't. I didn't really have the sort of time, and I thought, well, it's going to be a pain to kind of keep moving everything around. But I think I will give that a go. One of the other things, yeah, so I like the look of the top stitching, and I actually do quite like the fit on me, because I really wasn't sure that I would. And I like the faux, well, they're not faux tabs, but sometimes you have these tabs on jackets, and you have more than one buttonhole, and you can adjust the size, and you don't have that here. They're just purely ornamental. So you have these tabs, and then you put the buttons on. So I like that. I like the way it looks. some of the instructions at times, both Mandy and I quite cheerfully, I think, would have thrown it out of the window at points. So there's little kind of inconsistencies in the patterns. So one of the things is that the cutting layout muddles up the selvage and the folded edge. So that causes a bit of head scratching at one point. And also it shows you cutting out the waistband while the fabric is folded, but you actually only need one. So both she and I ended up cutting two by mistake, although on the pattern piece it does say you need one. Another way that it's inconsistent, sorry, I've got some of the pattern pieces here to show you. So it shows you where it shows you where you put your buttons on the centre placket. You can see it's just got these buttonholes marked here. So it shows you those, but it doesn't show whereabouts it should go once you've folded the pattern over on the waistband. It doesn't show you where you should put your buttonhole on the cuff. And although I appreciate that obviously it'll go on a different side on each cuff, because that's completely symmetrical, I think it could have shown it. Doesn't show you where you put it on the waistband tab, and on the other hand it does show you where you put it on the pocket. So it was good that they suggested that for the waistband tab, which I just showed you on the back, and also on the pocket tab, you do the buttonhole early on so that you're not trying to do it while it's on the garment, because buttonholes was one of the things that I really struggled with on this, because it suggests that you do it in your top stitching thread, and I really couldn't. I tried and I tried, and basically the fabric just didn't like it. It was just too thick. So I was fortunate in that I had, what have I done with it? Let's see if I can show you. So I happen to have in my stash, this is the colour of this is a piece of the top stitching thread. So hopefully you can see that. And I had this, which I think is just technically one shade out, but more or less is the same. And I just happened to have some of this in my stash, just an ordinary Gutermann thread. So what I did in the end was I just used that for the buttonholes, and you really can't tell at all. You know, that's the buttonhole thread and that's the top stitching. And that worked okay. That said, I still had trouble with the buttonholes, excuse me, on the front, despite doing tons and tons of practicing on I'd got lots of bits of fabric and I was practicing, and I chose to do a keyhole buttonhole, and I got it to work fine on my practice pieces, put the buttonhole foot on to do these bits on the main placket, and particularly this one, which was the one near the pocket, and the bottom one, it absolutely did not want to know. And I think what I was doing wrong was that I had too much of the jacket actually sitting up at the back of the machine, and that was confusing you've got a lever that you pull down, which correlates to how big your buttonhole you've set when you put your button in the buttonhole foot. And I think what was happening was that it was getting confused, and it was thinking it needed to stop already. And in fact, when I was sewing the one near the pocket, I think what was happening was it was somehow getting confused by the pocket piece. So it was just jamming it. So eventually, once I'd worked this out overnight, so this was literally, I was doing my buttonholes on Sunday morning at my mum's house, because she lives near Lincoln, which is near where this Sewing Social is at Scothern. And I realised I'd worked it out overnight by, I think, reading a vlog or something, a blog on it. And so what I did was I undid that one. I didn't have the button on, and I just pinned that back out of the way, and that was enough that the buttonhole foot could work. So at 9 o'clock on the Sunday morning, I finally got all the buttonholes done. So that was a big relief, because I didn't really want to go and try and be finishing that off at the actual social. So all I had to do when I got to the social was finish all the ends off and put the remainder of my buttons on, which I did with the prim pliers, these. So I chose the type of buttons that just have like a little, this bottom bit just has like a little spike on it, and there's a hole in the top bit, and you pop the two pieces, line them up in here, and then push, and they went on absolutely no problem. So that was good, and I'd had a practice at home on the cuff bits, which I'd managed to do, I think, or the waistband tabs, something. I think my waistband tabs, because I was worried that I might need my husband to help me do that, and I didn't. So that was all good. So that's how I got my buttonholes on. I did also make a purchase to help me with the putting the buttonholes in. So I always use a buttonhole chisel, because I just find it the easiest and probably safest way to do it, because I get worried about using seam rippers and things on buttons and sticking pins in. And normally at home that's fine, because I've got two big cutting mats on my cutting out table, and I just use those. But because I was going to be at my mum's when I was finishing off these buttonholes, and I really didn't want to take an enormous cutting mat, because as it is, I look like I've brought half the house with me. I bought one of these. So it's just a little tiny cutting mat, which I think people probably use for doing quilting. But it's great because it just drops into my sewing case. And it was also useful because at the sewing social, once I'd finished tidying this up, I went on to carry on with a bomber jacket that I'm making, the Mika bomber jacket from Tiana's Closet. So I changed my mind about the fabric I wanted to do part of the pockets in, and I was able to use this as a base to cut that out as well. So I was really pleased with that. I did buy it from the shop that begins with A, and I'll pop the link down below. But I really needed something to be delivered to my mum's while I was travelling up from work. So yeah, so we did both Mandy and I found the instructions a bit lacking at times. Neither of us particularly liked the way of attaching the waistband or the cuffs, where you actually are meant to fold everything over and then attach it by top stitching on the outside of the garment, rather than folding it under to the inside of the garment. And in fact, it was quite a struggle, and I don't know if you can see this. I'm just literally going to pick up the camera so that you can see this. Do a quick close-up. You will see, hopefully, if I can get it to focus, it is a bit not very well put in there, and I do need to tidy that up because it was quite thick and unforgiving in places. The collar, I think, used the same technique, but with the collar I actually did, oh no it didn't, he did tuck it under, but I slip stitched it in place before I top stitched it because I just thought that would be safer. Sorry, I hope I'm not making you feel dizzy with all this moving around. The other thing that I did was the pocket facing. It does recommend that if you've got thick fabric, you don't use the thicker fabric for that, you just use something a bit thinner, like a quilting cotton. So I used this. Again, sorry, I will move that out of the way, and you see it's just this kind of, it's got like a map on it, and it is the fabric that I used to make a shirt for my dad. And sadly, he's no longer with us. But my mum's still got the shirt, and by having that piece of fabric in, I kind of feel like he's next to my heart, which is nice. So yeah, all in all, I'm pleased with the garment. Would I make it again? No. It doesn't have pockets in, which I knew before I started. I have seen that some people have hacked it to put pockets in, but I think I would probably make one that's a bit longer if I wanted to do one with pockets. So I'm pleased with it. I will definitely get some wear out of it probably more next year now. And I loved doing the collaboration with Mandy, but I don't think this is going to be a pattern repeat for me. So hope you enjoyed seeing what Mandy and I got up to in Scothern, and I hope you are inspired to try sewing a denim jacket. If that's something that you want to do, give it a go. Just be aware that if it's got a lot of top stitching on it, it can be quite a lot of work, and it can be really quite a bit of a labour getting it through your machine. So, oh, the other thing I should mention is you are meant to put a button on the top there, which I think Mandy did, but I didn't, because it folds open quite naturally there, and also you would see the buttonhole in the wrong colour there, and I thought, well, to be honest, that's not going to add anything, so I didn't bother, so I just left that. So yeah, bits of tidying that I need to do. Was frustrated at times, but yeah, a good collab. So I will see you again soon, hopefully with a Friday sews. I've acquired 1 or 2 small things that I can show you, and then also I am busy getting on with my final Busy Bee make, so hopefully I will see you with that very soon too. So thank you so much for watching. Do let me know what you think of the jacket in the comments below, and if you've made it, and if you can recommend any other denim jacket patterns that I might like to try. I do quite like making jackets, actually, I have to say. So yeah, so until next time, pop over and watch Mandy's vlog as well, and give me a like, thumbs up if you've enjoyed watching this content, and if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.